Now, just before we're getting into dinner, you just heard Hector refer to Access Israel. Now, Access Israel, actually the country of Israel, has had a very prominent positioning in the Zero Project Conference, have become great friends of ours, where there's been real innovations around best practices and policies. And so we've had a huge amount of our Israeli colleagues around with us. But key to all of that, and I gotta say to you, for those of us who know Zero very well, is our friends in Access Israel. And it is wonderful to finally have the founder of Access Israel, Yuval Wagner, here to close today. So can you give a massive big round of applause? Because we love these guys. While Yuval is just getting onto the stage, I'm going to let you know we found the video, the Formula One video that Rodrigo was talking about earlier on today. And after Yuval is finished speaking, we're going to play it so you can see it. I think everybody's really interested in seeing what's going to happen. So if you just hang in the room, I will say play, and then we'll give the video a whack. So take it away, Yuval. We're dying to hear what you got to say.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank a lot the ESSEL Foundation, Zero Project, Martin, Michael, and all the staff for being such great partners and friends. And it's an honor that you invited me to be here with you today. And thanks again to challenging me being the third speaker after Shelley and Hector. It's quite a challenge. So I'll try to do it my best. I was born to a father who was a paraplegic, confined to a wheelchair due to an accident. All my childhood, I had to cope with barriers that avoided my father to come with me to places and activities like all other dads. My personal experience in pushing my father's wheelchair made me an accessibility expert on all barriers around my house. At the age of 20, I became an Israeli helicopter pilot. A few years later, I survived a helicopter crash due to a technical failure in the rotor. It was a true miracle that I stayed alive, but as a quadriplegic, from the neck down. Lucky me, I stayed alive. 19 years ago, the accessibility in Israel was a disaster. Nothing was accessible, nothing. The situation was unbearable for me. I felt like I got punished twice. Once, the disability itself and all it came with. And secondly, the feeling of home arrest. The idea that nothing had changed. The idea that my 3 kids will have to feel and go through what I went through as a kid, this was unacceptable for me. Something had to be done. I understood my life mission is to make Israel accessible. Access Israel, founded in 1999. What's unique about Access Israel is this is the only NGO in Israel that is focused on one mission, accessibility, for all kinds of disabilities and all areas of life. For us, accessibility is the only way to achieve the real target, full inclusion for everyone. The Zero Project Conference 2018 emphasizes on accessibility. So I would like to both share a bit of our best practices and our plans for the future. Today, 19 years since we started, we have revolutionized Israel's accessibility landscape. In Israel 2018, we already have awareness to the importance of accessibility, a set of detailed legislation, regulation, and standards, hundreds of professional consultants, we enforce compliance, and we have an active and successful commission of equal rights of people with disabilities, and the commissioner himself, a true partner, Avremi Torim, is here with us today. Besides places that justifies exemptions, all businesses are due to be fully accessible, or actually already fully accessible right now. Government ministries will be fully accessible by the end of this year, and municipalities by the end of 2021. Today, every new building, business, website, park, and etc. must be accessible from day one. Access Israel created a unique accessibility implementation model for businesses and organizations that must make sure that all its physical spaces, services, and products are accessible and usable to all. The idea is to make sure that all means that are taking place between the organization and its clients, B2C, will be fully accessible for all, aiming to serve 100% of its clients. That means including people with disabilities and the elderly. We found that implementing accessibility in large organizations is very complicated and expensive. So using our consulting unique implementation model, we have managed to make it simple and affordable. In Israel, we use the slogan, accessible business equals profitable business. We issue an accessibility badge to accessible organizations to motivate them. Organizations that are fully accessible are now implementing new advanced models of maintaining accessibility for the long run and excellence. We have learned and understood that we should focus on large organizations like ministries, municipalities, businesses, because their impact will be the strongest and will affect the maximum amount of people with disabilities. Today, organizations implement accessibility for the following reasons: enlarge profit and users, improve organization's image, avoiding risk of lawsuits and shaming, corporate social responsibility, and compliance with accessibility laws. Today, many decision makers are entirely devoted to our cause. The evolution of accessibility started many years ago. Accessibility of the physical environment that developed to cultural accessibility, dealing with stigmas and the way people see and react to people with disabilities. Next, and still today, we deal with accessibility and usability of services, and still ahead of us, we have accessibility of technologies and products. The future is all about technology. Everything we'll do will be based on technologies. Autonomous cars, robotics, augmented virtual reality, Internet of Things, smart home and smart cities, and much, much more, as you already heard today. We realize that we have an historic opportunity we never had before. This is the first time in the evolution of accessibility that we have the possibility, the will, and the power to create accessible world from day one. A world where we won't have to retroactively deal with accessibility, but rather tackle it in the present. Accessibility by design. In Israel, website, application, automatic machines already must be accessible day one. That's a great starting point, but what about other future technologies? An autonomous car, for example, can be great, but if it doesn't have a ramp for users like me on a wheelchair, or if a blind person wouldn't be able to operate the car with voice, or if a deaf person wouldn't be able to operate the car with captions, then this is a great tech invention, but it excludes people with disabilities. And when the technology will have such a large part of our life in the future, excluding people with disabilities equal house arrest. That means we are enlarging the social gap rather than making it smaller. So we, all of us, can't let it happen. Our action item in Israel for the mission are based on our models and experience. We're going to create awareness. We're going to import global accessibility solution, getting large organizations obligated, legislation, laws that all B2C tech must be accessible, teaching the end users how to use those technologies, developing tech-accessible consulting services, and development of innovation solutions. We are fully engaged to this mission in Israel. Our focus is tech-accessible solutions and services in the area of B2B2C, and not assistive technologies where are being dealt successfully by others. Israel is known as a startup nation. We have many innovations that can be life-changing for people with disabilities all over the world. Some of them are here at this conference. YouCan, Orcam, Make Sense, and Me'alev, the speaking sign, and Step Here. I invite you to contact Access Israel to learn more and connect to Israelis' innovations, startups, and technologies. We love to help. We have learned that the global companies are well aware of the importance of accessibility solutions. They have accessibility directors, R&D teams working on various solutions, and already have available some product and solution in place. But we also noticed that they are not 100% obligated to be accessible by design for all products and all services. They don't export and implement and localize accessibility products and solutions globally to all countries in the world. The impact that global companies have on tech accessibility and therefore on inclusion and quality of life and social gaps over the world is enormous. The global company's obligation is critical to make the future tech era accessible worldwide. We all have to work together to urge the global companies like IBM, Microsoft, Cisco, Facebook, Google, Amazon, and many more to be fully obligated. This is the right business social decision case to enlarge businesses, to lower future costs of redesign the accessibility, improve their image, corporate social responsibility, risk management, low compliance, and all the other reasons that Hector mentioned before. The time is right. It's now. We are in a historical moment in which all of us together, 15 to 80% of the world population, more than 1 million people with disabilities, can shape the future of the tech era. making it accessible day one. Together, we can make it happen. This is an opportunity we can't afford to miss. Neta, all our great progress I just presented, I could not achieve on my own. I'm surrounded by amazing people who are dedicated to the mission. One of them was Neta, who unfortunately is no longer with us. 2 days ago, while preparing for Zero Project Trail, she was killed by a crane that collapsed on her. Neta was a true partner, a leading professional, and a change maker in accessibility in Israel and the world. Access Israel is dedicated to continue fulfilling Neta's dream. Thank you very much.
Yuval, thank you so much. And I have to say, watching in the last few years what Access Israel has achieved, it is phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. The passion, commitment, the team, and the people that we've got to know, you are absolutely, you're legends. You are just legends. So it's wonderful to have you here with us, Yuval, so thank you so much. Now, I'm just going to ask Michal to come up and join me, just explain a little bit to you about the access trail that you can do on the ground floor before I play the video. She'll do a much better job of explaining it than I will. I know many of you met her before. She's a partner in crime, another troublemaker. So would you like to take over and tell us all about the trail?
Absolutely. Okay, guys. After the short clip, I think we sat enough, and we talked enough, and we heard enough, and it's time for a little action. So once we're finished here, I'm inviting you to come downstairs to the accessibility trail at the entrance of the conference. You can do a little, relaxing your body and getting ready for a real action. Each one of you can choose the way to participate. Some of you will say, listen, I just want to stand on the side and just see what people are doing, and when I'll be ready, I'll participate. And others can join groups. You'll hear me talking on the speaker and inviting groups for specific experiences there. Others can come just to the entrance of the trail, and once it's free, choose a disability, blindness, or sitting in wheelchairs and try to experience. We have amazing innovations there from many countries around the world that really show you not only the difficulty, but the fact there are solutions. And this is what we want to show here. So I urge you to come. Let's see you trying passing by me and not participating. Good luck.
You know, I believe that. Hold on to stay right here. And actually, that is one thing that is really about Access Israel. And it's just in referring to Yuval's point, you guys are so open to share a lot of your innovations and work. And also, any question. I mean, no question is stupid, right? No question is stupid. And it's also have fun. So it's to have fun before dinner. So a big round of applause. And I'm going to now ask, can we show the video? A huge round of applause for Yuval and Access Israel.